Okay, this is the first video of the Chinese fluency lessons that I'm going to be teaching you. Um, and let me start off by just saying that how I'm going to teach this differently than most textbooks. So first of all, I've spent over a decade owning my own school in China teaching English. And I'm still in China right now, even as I'm making this video. Um, And the two things that I have focused on is how to teach English efficiently and effectively. That's been our major focus. All of my teachers and all of our employees, they know this is our focus in everything that we do. How can we be efficient? How can we be effective in teaching English? Well, we're going to carry right over with that in Chinese. As I've learned Chinese here, the first goal that you should have in learning a language is to become conversationally fluent. And what does that mean? If we look at the word fluency, if we look up the word fluency, we'll go ahead and pull that up here. This is the well, you can't see it all right here, but it's the ability to speak or write a foreign language easily and accurately. And that's from the Webster's Dictionary definition for the word fluency. So that's what we're going to be focused on. We're going to be focused on speaking. Why? Well, let me give you the reason why. This is what I followed in teaching English, and this is why I was able to teach both efficiently and effectively students who were learning something over a period of 10 years. I could teach them in about 2.5 years, maybe 3 years. I could help them achieve the same results. In fact, most of the time, better results in 2.5 or 3 years than most students were learning in 10 years of studying English here in China. And it is the method, it is the approach that I have found to be most efficient and most effective. And so I'm going to teach you the most efficient and the most effective way of learning Chinese. I'm going to teach you the same way. The natural approach, according to Dr. Stephen Krashen, who wrote the book The Natural Approach back in the late 1960s, I believe it was, he wrote the book on the natural approach to language. And there's different other approaches to learning language. There's the structuralist approach, which I use a lot of things from the structuralist approach in my method of teaching. Now, what's the best and the worst systems of learning Chinese or learning any language? I really don't know. I really don't think about that very much at all. They say, well, aren't you going to have people who say that your way is bad? I'm sure that I will. Are you going to have people say that your way is amazing? I'm sure that I will. It just kind of goes with the territory when you do something like what I'm doing. But the fact is does it work or does it not work? And if you do it, it works. 9 times out of 10, the reason that a system does not work for someone is they just don't do it. They don't do it. They try it for a short period of time and they say, oh, this doesn't work for me. I can't learn a language. And that's simply not true. You know, if you can't learn a language, then you must be illiterate and you must be mute also. You must not be able to talk. Well, I'm sure you're not illiterate and I'm sure that you're not mute. So you can learn a language. The human brain is designed to learn a language. And there is a natural way. Dr. Krashen talked about the natural approach to learning a language. And the natural approach to learning a language is to think about how does a baby learn a language? The baby is born, and the baby is in an environment of all of these sounds and unintelligible sounds to the baby, and the baby's going to start making unintelligible sounds also pretty soon after they're born. The baby spends 1.5 years in this environment, and they're hearing these things. They're passively picking up these things, but their subconscious mind is really focused on, because our brains are made to learn language. They're designed to learn language, and the natural way is, I think, the most effective and the most efficient way. In fact, I've proven it here in China. We put kids in Cambridge. We put kids in Harvard. We put students in Yale, UCLA, University of Chicago, in Canada, University of Toronto, in Australia, University of Melbourne. We've been able to put kids in top colleges by teaching them English when English is not their native language, and they would score higher on exams like the SAT in America. The total score on the English part of the SAT right now currently is 800 points, and our average student scores 730. They're scoring 730. The average native speaking English student is a little over about 536, I believe is the number for the average. For the native speaker, we take non-native speakers, we get them scores of 730. How do we do that? We follow this approach. We simply follow this approach. Every system out there, whether it's Pimsleur, Rosetta Stone, I was a spokesperson for Rosetta Stone for about 8 years. I was an international spokesperson for them, and they're a great system. They're a great system. But in being able, as I've had, boots on the ground, so to speak, as I've been in the trenches here in teaching English for over a decade here in China, I've found really what I believe is the most effective and efficient way. I'm not selling it to you. I'm giving it to you here on YouTube. So if somebody's got, a beef with me or something like that, I really don't pay much attention to all of that. I just do what I do and produce the results that I produce, and I kind of let that stand for itself. So, with all that said, what about Chinese? Well, what we're going to do is the natural approach is listening. Just like the baby, for the first year and a half, they're listening. Then they learn to speak. And then after about 6 or 7 years of that, then they're in kindergarten, and they've built up a vocabulary of 1,000 to 1,500, maybe 2,000 words. A lot of structural words in there. What are structural words? These are the words that are necessary in everyday conversation. To make it very simple, the simplest structural words is learning phrases like I am. I am a teacher. I am Michael. I am an American. I am a man. All right. It's learning I am. These are structural words, usually pronouns and very common verbs. These are structural words. Then we add what Dr. L.G. Alexander in his books, famous books in China. Everybody in China knows the Dr. L.G. Alexander's books that were also written, I think, in the 1960s and now have sold over hundreds of millions of copies here in China, and teachers use it everywhere. He talked about structural words. Structural words are our most common, predominantly pronouns and verbs. And then he talks about lexical words, which are words like house, television, boat, guitar, bag, these type of nouns. But when you learn these structural words, that's what's most important. The structural words need to become automatic with you. And this is what we focus on here in doing what we do. We do it with English. I'm going to do it now with you with Chinese. We're going to focus on these structural words. Now, one thing you may already be asking yourself is that obviously I am not a native Chinese speaker, and you say, why am I trying to learn Chinese from someone that's not a native Chinese speaker? And that's a good question. It's a very, very good question. And what the thing is don't worry about that part, because you're going to learn pronunciation from native. You're not going to get pronunciation from me. I'm going to explain some things. I'm going to teach some lessons, but you're going to get native pronunciation from native Chinese speakers. Okay? So don't worry about that. We're going to put that into our practice videos, and in those practice videos is when you're actually going to learn and you're going to pick up that native pronunciation. It's extremely important to have that. In the meantime, I'm going to help you understand a lot of other things that's going to make your journey in becoming conversationally fluent in Chinese. It's going to make your journey both efficient and effective. You're going to do it faster, and you're going to be very effective in learning it. Now, what are we looking at on the screen right here? First of all, these are Chinese characters right here. We have 4 Chinese characters. Each one of these is what we would call a morpheme, which just simply means it's a sound. Each one is a sound. If I put on this right here, what's the sound here? Wah. You can see it's right here. If I put here on this, Ming Bai. Ming Bai, what is that? That's Ming Bai right here. This is called pinyin. This is something that was established back in the 1950s. It brought a lot of Chinese people out of illiteracy to literacy in learning Chinese more efficiently and learning the character system. It's called Hanzi. They call this Hanzi. That's the character system. We call ours the alphabet, and the system that we use. The system that we use is phonetic. This is not phonetic. By looking at this, there's no way that I need to make this. There's no way I know to make this sound. To look at this right here, there's no way, unless I've just simply learned the sound for that. There's no clue. Let me say it that way. There's no clue to tell me that that is Ming unless I just learned this character right here. All right. So the Chinese developed this system here. It's called pinyin. It means I think it means common speech is what it means. It's not important that you know that. What is important is this tells us how to say that. Now, we're not going to focus here on reading. And you say, well, so I'm not going to learn how to read Chinese. You are going to learn how to read Chinese because you're going to be seeing these enough that you're going to figure out. I'm going to tell you how to do that, how to learn these, and to know that as I read this, if I didn't have this at all right here, I can read this and say, Wa Ming Bai La, all right, which is this right here. Now, let's talk about these marks on the top of the letters here. Right here, Wa, Wa, Wa. You notice I don't say whoa. There's no O sound with just a O. And there is a O sound in Chinese, but it's OU. So when you see this right here, it's ah, wah, wah, wah. What's this mean right here? It means I have a dip in my voice. This is why you hear that weakness or that dip sometimes when Chinese people are speaking, or most Asian people are speaking. They have this dip. So how do I pronounce this? This is telling me how to pronounce this. Wah. Now, some people argue that, I can't learn all those tones. I can't learn all that. Well, you learn stress in English words. You know, for example, product. You don't say product. You know, we do say productive, but you don't say product. You say product. You have already learned stress. Now, I will say this in Chinese, these are very, very important. They're more important than the stress in English, because if I say product in English, there's a good chance that you know what word that I'm using, even if I pronounce it wrong. But we do have stress. In Chinese, they have what's called tones. There's 4 of them. I'm going to tell you all 4 of them. We're going to see it in the words that we're learning. So this is Wa, Wa. Now, to learn, here's what I did in the very beginning when I started learning Chinese. I learned what is I am. Probably I am is probably the most used subject verb phrase that you're ever going to use, you're ever going to need to know. I am a teacher. I am. Then we'll learn things like you are, they are, he is, she is. We'll learn things like that in Chinese. But I, meaning me, is wa, 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 wa. So you hear me going wa, wa, wa. Here we have one that goes up, like a question. Ming, like I'm asking a question. Ming, by. And here, this last syllable here, we have nothing. La. 我明白了，我明白了，我明白了，明白了，我明白了. And this has nothing here, so we really don't put any kind of just la, like this. Okay? So what does this mean? Well, Ming means bright, Bai means white, Ming Bai Le. This means
I see.
I see. Okay? I'll give you a link. This is done. I'm doing this in Quizlet, and I'm going to give you a link to this set in Quizlet. It'll be very beneficial to you, and I'm going to give that to you in the links below.
我明白了。
我明白了。
I see.
我明白了。
我明白了. Let's do it again. 我明白了. I see. 我明白了.
I see.
我明白了。
我明白了. 我明白了. Okay? So is it important that we pronounce it that way? Yes, it is. Because like I said, you know, if you're saying, and if you're speaking in English and you say the word product, you don't want to say product. What was the word that I heard? Oh, I know what it was. It was a minister that I heard one time, and he said, in our church we baptize people. We baptize people. All right, and I thought that's a little strange. That's a little strange. Why would you say baptize people? Baptize people. You know, it's baptize people. Baptize. All right. So he would say it that way, but he always said it that way. And I guess in his particular church that they needed a special way to say baptize. But if you go look it up in the dictionary, it's baptize. It's not baptize. Okay? All right? But it's okay. Now, in English, we still know if somebody says baptize, we know what they're saying, even though it sounds a little strange to us. Okay? But in Chinese, it's important that you get these tones the right way. And you can learn this, by the way. If you say, no, I could never, ever learn this. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I disagree with you if you say you can't do it. I'm going to disagree with you. Yes, you can learn it. How do I know that? Because right now, there's hundreds of millions of Chinese children that can do this. If they can do it, you can do it. You say, well, they have the advantage of being in an immersive language environment. And that's a true statement. They do have that advantage. All right. And they're going to learn it better than you're going to learn it. All right. But it doesn't mean you can't learn it. You could still learn it. We can create our own immersive environments. And I'm going to talk about that more in our future videos. So the first thing we're going to do is I see.
I see.
我明白了。
Again, this character right here, it means by. This character means white. It means white or bright. All right? 明白 means I see.
I see.
And literally, we usually just say,
我明白了。
I understand. I understand. Okay? Now, again, let me deal with this issue one more time. What about the characters? Let's don't worry about the characters right now. Let's get this down. Get this in your mind. 我明白了. Hey, what's the best way to do that? Here's what I found. Best way for me to do that is to listen closely, listen intently to this
我明白
pronunciation.
了。我明白了。我明白了。我明白了。
Here's what I've done is that I'm listening to this.
我明白了。
明白 means understand, means clear. I see. 我明白了. 我 means I, and 明白了 means understand. Okay. Now the la here, you're going to see this quite often in a lot of Chinese words. It just means it's kind of like it's similar to, not always, not completely, but it's similar to an ed ending. It means it's already happened. It means it's already happened. It's a completed action. If we look at this right here, what we're going to find out, it's going to tell us that it is a completed, this is a completed, you'll see right there, completed action marker. Okay? So it's not always a ED, but it means that something has already happened. And we're going to see this again and again. This is very, very common character, very, very common expression in Chinese. All right? So how do you learn this? And I'm going to make this very, very simple here, is that, just simply listen to this, listen to,
我明白了，
and then look away from the screen. 我明白了, 我明白了. Here's the way I visualize it in my mind. 我, I see that mark on top. I see that dip on top of the O. I see this right here. Even as I look away, I see it in my mind, in my imagination. Okay? 我明, the I has a upward mark on it like this. 白了, 我明白了. 我明白了. It means
I see.
I see.
我明白了，
Let's go to another one. Don't worry about memorizing this. Do not worry about memorizing. You don't learn language by memorizing. If you try to learn by memorizing, you're going to frustrate yourself. Okay? So don't do that. Don't do that. Just listen. Just listen.
我不干了，
我不干了. Oh, how do I know that? Well, we see this la again here. 我不干了. 我不干. Oh, we see two things we already know here. 我 and la. We know it's a completed action. We know we pronounce this 我. Oh, we got a different mark here. We got two different marks here. And we're going to learn the four tones right now in these first two phrases that we're learning. What does this tone mean? It means to say this almost like you're angry. Boo. 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 You think about on Halloween, a child comes up to your door, knocks on the door, and trick or treat, and they're dressed up like a ghost, and they go, boo, boo. All right? You say this almost in a way as if it sounds like you're angry. Now, what's interesting is living here in China, what I saw is that, sometimes people sound like they're angry, and they're not. It's that they have this this is actually what's called the fourth tone. This is the third tone in Chinese. This is the first one here. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But on this fourth tone, like this right here, when they say this word, boo, boo, they don't say boo. They don't say boo. They say boo. Okay? And it does sound like they're angry. And I mistook it in the very beginning. I thought, these people are angry. What are they angry about? They're not angry. It's just how the tone is. You remember when you were a child and you said something to your mom, Mom, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do what you want me to do. And she said, you better change your tone. Well, this is tones right here. We're learning tones right now. Okay? Wa, boo. All right? What about this tone right here? Gan. It's almost like you're singing it. Gan, gan, wa, bu, gan la, wa bu gan la, wa bu gan la. Now let me say this. Often the tones will get lost when people speak fast enough. The tones will get lost. These, especially the last one, you generally hear quite clearly. You don't always hear these quite clearly. All right. This is just my observance, of Chinese. So, but you still need to learn this as wa. Is it important that you speak real slowly and go wa, bu, gan, gan? It's almost like you're singing it. This is the first tone right here. This is the fourth tone. This is the third tone. This is the first one right here. The other tone that we saw in the last
我
phrase.
明白了，
This is the second tone. Okay? This is the third tone. This is the second tone.
我不干了，
All right? This is the third tone. This is the fourth tone. And this is the first tone. Now, you've already learned all four tones. That's all four tones in Chinese and how to say them. Wa, bu, gan la. All right? Now, listen to him say it.
我不干了，我不干了，
Okay? Now, this is a machine. This is a machine saying it. And I will tell you, a lot of people say, well, I can't learn from a machine. I can't use Google Translate or Bing, which is part of Microsoft's language translation program. A lot of people say, well, I can't, you shouldn't learn from that. Well, I'll tell you that most of them are pretty good. And I know a lot of people that are fluent today in many different languages who learned from that. Now, is it going to be perfect? No, it's not going to be perfect. You're only going to get perfect pronunciation from a native speaker. You're not going to get it from me. I'm not a native speaker. You're not going to get it from me. Like I said, I have practice sessions later on with native speakers speaking this. You're going to learn more from them in pronunciation. You're going to learn how to perfect your pronunciation with them. But right now, this is not a bad way to learn. I have found this out. I've tested it and tried it and done it myself, and it's not a bad way at all to learn. All right. So let's listen again.
我不干了，
我不干了，干了，干了. All right. This is in the sentence right here. You really need to hear that the last tone. This one here is just la. 我不干了，我不干了. Now, what's this mean? 我, means I. 不. Let's look at the translation. I quit.
我不干了，
我不干了. All right. 不 is this character right here. 不. It means not. It means not. Very, very common in Chinese. You're going to see it again and again. 我不干了，我不干了. I not, and let's look at this word right here. It actually has a lot of different meanings to it, but let's just look at it this way. 我不干了. We know that this is not part of the meaning. It's the meaning of the sentence, but not a part of meaning of the not part of the meaning of the word. 不干, 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 不干. All right. 不干 obviously means quit.
我不干了，
I 不干了. This is like I said, think about this somewhat like, not completely like, and a lot of people will get angry at me for saying this, but somewhat like an ED. It's something that's already happened. It's a completed action marker. If we look at this again, it says a completed action marker. That's what this is. All right. So 不干, 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 不干 means quit. Okay. Let's look at one more.
放手，
放手，放手，
放手，
放手，放手. All right.
Let go.
Let go.
放手，
放手，放手. Well, I can right here. You can see there part of the definition of fang. Fang. We don't say fang. Don't say fang. We say Shanghai in China. Shanghai is a famous city in the world. A lot of people say Shanghai. All right. Oh, that's an English pronunciation. That's not the true pronunciation of it. It's fang, fang, Shanghai, Shanghai, Shanghai. Okay. Shou. This is where we get the O sound right here. We get the O sound from an OU. When you see OU in pinyin here, this is where we get the O sound. We don't, if it's just one O, it's ah. If it's an OU sound, O. Now, I heard one teacher, and I thought this was excellent. One teacher actually said OU. Okay. 放手，放手，放手，放手，
放手，
放手,
Let go.
let go.
放手，
放手, let go. Okay. What does it mean? Well, 放手 is just giving us, 放手 means let go. All right. We're not going to learn these. Actually, this right here, show, means hand. It means, so fang must mean release, hand. Release hand. Fang shou. So this is hand right here. If we look at this character here by itself, it means hand. Shou. shou, fang shou. All right, and there's little memory tricks that show your hand, fang shou, fang shou. So we're learning this phrase right now. Let go, release hand, let it go, release your hand. Okay, we're learning that right now, but you can learn this also, show, because we're going to see hand show up again and again. Fang, not so much. Show, very common, because it's the word hand. Show. So think about this. Show your hand. Show, 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 show. I got that dip in there, third tone. Fang. This is the fourth tone. Why do I say it? I say it like I'm angry. Fang shou, fang shou, fang shou. Now imagine imagine you're in China and someone is holding on to you. You're walking down the street, someone grabs you and holds on to you. What are you going to say? Fang shou, let go, let go of me. Fang shou, fang shou, fang shou. Okay?
Let go.
Means let go.
放手，
Okay? Release your hand. Release your hand. Get your hands off of me.
我也是，
我也是. All right? We already know this character right here. 我也, wa. We know this sound. Wa. If you say I am in Chinese, it's 我是. 我是. Sounds like washer. W-A-S-H-E-R. W-A-S-H-E-R. And it sounds like washer. 我是. Sure. You notice that the I sound is more of a This is very common in Chinese. All right? So we know 我, yeah, sure. Sure, fourth tone. Okay? What's this mean? Well, we look at this. This means I also am. Sure. 我是 I am. 我是 我也是. This means yeah means also. Yeah. 我也是. 我也是. Okay? Let's go back to what I just said before. If I say I am, I say 我是. If I say I am a teacher, I say 我是老师. 老师 means old scholar. 老 means old. Shi means scholar. If we do a translation to English, 老师 means teacher. Okay? So this simply means me too. I am too.
我也是，
I also am. I also am. I also am. All right? It's important that you learn the word structure and the sentence structure in Chinese. In learning the sentence structure in Chinese, you're going to naturally learn Chinese grammar. 我也是. 我也是. Okay? If 我也是 means I also am, then 我是 means I am. Okay? You got that? Now here's what I would say is look away. Don't look at the screen right now. First of all, get this sound in your head.
我也是，
我也是.
我也是，
我也是. Now it sounds a little bit robotic because of the machine pronunciation here, but it's close enough for right now.
我也是，
我也是. 我也是. 我是. 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 Like a clothes washer, like a dishwasher. Dishwasher. 我是. What's it mean? It means I am. 我 means I. 是. Sure. Say it like you're angry. Have that dip in here. 我也是. Me too. I also am. Okay? All right, we're going to stop this video. I think it's long enough for this video, but we've learned actually 4 phrases here, and let's go back
放
and
手，
and
我
look
不
at
干
these.
了，我明白了。
Look at these very quickly again. 我明白，明白，明白，明白了. You say, I don't remember that right now. Well, we're going to review it enough that you will remember it. You're going to acquire these understanding. You're going to acquire Chinese in the same way that you acquire English. We're going to have a little bit more exposure to it, which is going to help you acquire it faster, but it's still acquired. Don't worry about memorization at this point in time. All right? All right, let's listen to this.
我明白了。
我明白了. Now look away from the computer right now and say, 我明白了. 我明白了. 我, and think about it. Think about it. 我, what's that mean? I 明白, understand 了. Okay? It's something that's already happened. It's already happened. Let's go to the next one.
我不干了。
我不干, 不干, 不干. All right?
I quit.
I
我
quit.
不干了。
不干, 不干. You know, I don't continue. I don't continue. 不 means no or not. I don't continue. 我不干了. 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 Okay? Look away from the screen. 我 means I. 不 not. 干 means to continue. 了. 了 tells me I've already done it. I'm not going to quit. I already have quit. I'm not quitting right now. I already quit. It's a completed action. All right, let's go to the next
放
one.
手。
放手, 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 手, 手 means release your hand. Release your hand. Let go.
Let go.
放手。
Let go. All right, let's go to the next
我
one.
也是。
我也是. All right, let's start with 我是. 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 That's easy to remember. 我是. 我也, what's that mean? Also. I also am. I also am
Me
simply
too.
means me too.
我也是。
Okay? I think it's enough. If you've made it through this video with me, and you're at this point right here, right now, after me keeping your attention here for right now almost 37 minutes, stay with me. Stay with me. Because you're going to learn a lot, and you're going to learn it efficiently. You're going to learn it effectively. This is the first video, and we're going to end it right here. Again, do we have homework? No, there's no homework. There's no homework. All right. I'm going to teach you. We're going to be doing this on a daily basis. I'm going to be teaching you, on a daily basis of how to learn and become fluent, conversational fluency in Chinese. So stay with me. Be awesome. Have a great day.